against Benjamin Nikolich. Grixis Delver, Jeskai Control. Nikolich currently up a game. So they're not even game number 3, and Ancestral Visions on suspend.
Yep. Well, this is a matchup where you want as many Ancestral Visions as you can get your hands on.
That is definitely true. Snapcaster Mage over there for Davis, a bunch of lands, among them a Desolate Lighthouse for Benjamin Nikolich, a very full graveyard, and Ancestral Visions on suspend. Looks like all the colors of the mana, a Desolate Lighthouse maybe of his own, and a Celestial Colonnade. But it looks like Benjamin Nikolich is very low on resources, and I think he's going to play an Is It Static Caster.
Oh boy.
Which is going to take care of old young Pyromancer. That shot is going to happen, but we'll have a Thought Scour in response here from Jim Davis so he can get an elemental token. He will Thought Scour himself, Spell Snare, and Scalding Tarn, draw a card. And now we'll also have a Murderous Cut. So another elemental token on the way. And he has done a nice job of taking care of the annoying Is It Static Caster. Two elemental tokens here for Jim as he's going to, I believe, untap here in just a moment. And draw. Snapcaster Mage, good magic card.
Have to assume it's good here.
Got a pretty full graveyard. He's going to take a look. There's at least a Kolagon's Command down there. Gataxian Probe 2. In for 4, and a Snapcaster Mage on a Lightning Bolt, I believe, is going to take care of this game. So, just like that, Jim Davis is going to tie things up here against Benjamin Nikolich. Both players looking around the clock. How much time is left? A little under 13 minutes, gentlemen, as Grixis Delver and Jeskai Control get ready here for game number 3. And because both of these players are in top 8 contention as well, we might see a little speed magic.
Yes. Draw here, pretty bad news. The first thing that I like to do with this kind of matchup is just do a Supreme Verdict check on the Jeskai Control side. Not the easiest card for Delver to play through. So what are we looking at?
Supreme Verdict check, huh? For Mr. Nikolich. I know I saw one in his graveyard. He's got one in his sideboard. So not very many.
Yep, that is a little on the light side.
But he's got a lot of control elements here. Lightning Bolts, Path to Exile. Those are both 4 ofs. 2 Remands and a Gate, a Logic Knot, 3 Lightning Helix, an Electrolyzer, Cryptic Command, even a main deck Timely Reinforcements. A couple creatures here in for Snapcaster Mage, Vendilion Click. He's got the Emrakul to go along with the Nahiris. That's generally Jeskai Control's win condition. And then you take a look at the sideboard for Benjamin. 2 Rest in Peace, 2 Anger of the Gods, a Surgical Extraction, 2 Stony Silence. Is a Static Caster, which we saw. Another Timely Reinforcements, a Guide to St. Trap, and Negate. Wear, Tear, Dispel, Crumble to Dust, and that Supreme Verdict. A lot of control elements here.
Yeah, I think the Negate is pretty easy to bring in here. The Is It Static Caster as well. The question I have is just how much of the anti-graveyard stuff does he want to have? Jim is a Delver deck. He's using his graveyard as a resource, but he's not a Dredge deck necessarily. He doesn't have to have his graveyard to win. So I'm curious to see if Surgical Extraction and Rest in Peace are in Nikolich's deck post-board. My guess is yes to Rest in Peace and no to Surgical Extraction, but we'll have to see.
For Jim Davis, 3 Surgical Extraction, 2 Painful Truths, 2 Dispels, bunch of 1-ofs here, and Collective Brutality, Magma Spray, Ravenous Trap, Is It Static Caster of his own, Counter Squall, Vandal Blast, Engineer Explosives, and that Desolate Lighthouse.
Huge fan of the Desolate Lighthouse in this matchup. Davis is in the market for more mana, and the game can go on for a long time, so the looting effect is very good here. The additional counter spells here and Dispels and Counter Squalls are well suited for the matchup as well, and the Painful Truths. I would bring in Painful Truths for a slower game. Well,
game 3 is the place to be, and these players should have about 14 minutes to take care of it in. So it looks like Nikolich is going to take a mulligan here. Jim will decide on his opening hand while these players take care of that. We want to do a little conversation about the pre-release for Aether Revolt. And the fact that if you do register today for your pre-releases that are taking part in Star City Games promotion, you'll be able to get this awesome playmat. It is Pandra Nalar. Pandra Nalar. Not to be confused with Chandra Nalar. Pandra Nalar. Sometimes we got to stretch.
Yep, it's okay.
We got to stretch. But
Pandra.
Your turn. Pandra, your turn.
Pandra, you're up.
It's a cute red panda. I actually had to Google some of these. They are cute and fuzzy, and no, you can't have one as a pet.
No.
I keep trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
You want to have a panda as a pet?
That or a hippo or a bevy of other animals that should not be in my house.
Those are all animals that will kill you the first chance they get, and you also can't reasonably have in your house. Go.StarCityGames.com/pre-release. Limited edition playmats to participating stores.
The playmat won't kill you.
No.
Which is good. Gataxian Probe here from Davis. Rest in Peace, Timely Reinforcements. And just a couple of lands. So Not a bad hand from Nikolich, but not the best hand I've ever seen.
And I'm not a huge fan of timely reinforcements in this matchup, even though Davis is an aggressive deck. Davis can fly over, and he can also play a long game, as we saw before. I think timely is much more for the very fast, very linear burn style strategies. It might be okay here, but I'm guessing on the balance it's an underperformer.
We'll say this, as there's a Delver of Secrets too for Nikolich. By having Rest in Peace in his deck, that means his Snapcaster Mages are probably out of his deck.
Or there's a slight hedge.
Yeah.
Maybe not all, but a little bit's gone. That could happen too.
A Flooded Strand here from Benjamin. He's going to quickly search up a land. We'll see what that land will be. It'll be a basic Plains, and I think we'll have a Rest in Peace here in just a moment.
But as you mentioned, Speed Magic, both of these players putting speed on a premium right now, as a draw is pretty bad news.
Delver of Secrets will transform into Insectile Aberration. Gataxian Probe is the reveal. That'll be Davis's draw for the turn. Serum Vision's in hand here for Jim. It looks like he might start off with a Probe, and he will. It'll be exiled, of course, because of Rest in Peace. The draw was a Path to Exile, so Jim's working with nearly perfect information. The only thing he doesn't know is what is on top of his opponent's deck. Davis will draw for the turn. Draw from the Probe. A horrible Tassiger has been found.
Davis has a lot of lands in hand, and it's not like Nikolich's hand is particularly fast here. We could see a hard cast Tassiger. Would not rule it out.
6 mana's a lot. 6 mana's a lot, but it could be done. Blood Crypt and a passing of the turn. We're heading over to Benjamin Nikolich. He'll draw a card. Looks like it may have been a Lightning Bolt. Spire Bluff Canal and a passing of the turn. Davis might just play a Snapcaster Mage here and try to go beatdowns. Yeah, we're going to see that. A little 2-1 with Flash.
Sort of this interesting spot here where Nikolich kind of wants to try to juke the game in such a way that the timely reinforcements, he gets both sides and it matters. So he has some incentive to not kill the Delver of Secrets for the time being. But with Davis deploying another threat, now the coast is clear. He still leaves Davis at 1 creature. And better still, a 1 toughness non-flyer, so the timely reinforcement tokens are especially valuable.
Snapcaster Mage into the red zone. Nikolich going to fall down to 14. Now it's a Serum Visions for Jim. He will scry 2 after drawing a card. One of those cards was a Painful Truths. He can't keep that up there fast enough. Keep in mind, Davis's draw for the turn was a Counter Squall. He'll play Steam Fence untapped and pass the turn back. Over to Nikolich, we're going to go. He'll draw. Didn't get a great look, but we know he's got timely reinforcements in hand.
And it's an interesting little squeeze here from Davis playing that land on tap. Nikolich now has to determine, did Davis draw something that matters, or is he just trying to juke his own life total down to make the timely reinforcements more awkward?
Nikolich considering playing timely reinforcements, but he's kind of also stopped himself here.
Well, Davis's life total is lower. He's taking a lot of damage off those lands. That's why I'm saying Nikolich is that land on tap from Davis, very good play. It's pretty straightforward that he should do it with Counter Squall in hand, but it does present some pretty deceptive misinformation from Nikolich's side. Doesn't know if that's a legit draw or if it was just a consideration because of timely reinforcements.
Water Grave on the battlefield tapped, and Nikolich now on the end step is going to play an Electrolyze. 1-1 is plenty of fun. 1 at Snapcaster Mage, 1 at Jim Davis, and potentially drawing a card as well here will be Benjamin. Jim is going to Counter Squall there. They're valuing a Snapcaster Mage very highly. However, this is going to turn on timely.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing there is from Davis's perspective, the game's a little bit on the slower side. Nikolich's hand, from what he knows about, is a bit of a mess, and drawing a card there is very good for Nikolich. So there's some incentive to counter it. The flip side is, if he allows Nikolich to kill a Snapcaster Mage, he's kind of off the hook about having to worry about timely reinforcements for the time being. But I think ultimately, Nikolich getting to cast a cantrip for some value overrides the concern about timely reinforcements.
Now, I was curious to see maybe if Davis would bolt himself here.
Nah, I think it's too valuable in fighting over Nahiri or some other threat down the line. This game is not looking to be determined right now by a couple tokens on the other side.
Fair enough. There are your 3 1-1s from timely reinforcements, and also Nikolich is going to go up to 15. So timely reinforcements have certainly changed the shape of this game. A Lightning Bolt is going to take care of a third of the timely reinforcements. The token is down.
So if you were going to do that, then I definitely would have bolted the Snapcaster.
Yeah.
Especially because you know Nikolich has, is it Staticaster in the sideboard?
He does.
It's a fine way to cash in the Snapcaster at that point. It's pretty ambitious to leave Snapcaster against 2 tokens if you're going to just bolt one of the tokens down anyway.
Painful Truths here for Davis is going to bring him down to 9. 3 cards on the way. Delver of Secrets among them. Snapcaster Mage, another option. Davis will play a Scalding Tarn. The follow-up here is a Delver. And we might just see Jim pass the turn back now. He will, over to Benjamin Nikolich, who has drawn a card. Path to Exile still in Benjamin's hand. There's a land over there and a mystery card, as here come those attackers. Just 1 soldier coming into the red zone. Davis will trade with the Snapcaster Mage. That Snapcaster Mage isn't getting much better, so it does make some sense. Davis will sacrifice the Scalding Tarn. Dig up a land. We'll see which one it'll be here momentarily. You mentioned the Tasker and the hard casting being an option in this game, and it certainly does appear to be the case.
Yeah, he's got it ready to go.
Basic mountain here for Jim.
So now the total sum of Davis's play here with the lightning bolt on the token is a little odd. Because he traded off Snapcaster with one of them. And
Mana Leak will allow Delver of Secrets to transform into Insectile Aberration. About 6.5 minutes left to go here for these 2 players. In for 3. That'll connect. Nikolich falls down to 12. Steam Fence, pass the turn back. Nikolich will draw.
yeah, Davis still aware about the path there, so no rush to tap out for a Tassiger. Better serve holding up Mana Leak.
In for 1 with the Soldier token. Davis going to fall down to 7.
Yeah, I think Davis looking to race here with his own Snapcaster Mage.
Nikolich organizing some mana here. Curious if he's got something lined up. It's Anger of the Gods. Huh. It's a pretty good Mana Leak target.
Also reasonable for Davis to just let this go and play a Snapcaster Mage and move on.
I suppose the question is Mana Leak getting any better? Davis decides that it is not. So he's going to Mana Leak the Anger of the Gods. We might see the Path to Exile here in just a moment. Not just yet. There's Snapcaster Mage. Now the shields are down if Benjamin wants to fire off the path. And he will. This is good news for the Tassiger.
Yes. I think the total sum of the parts that Nikolich has here post-board is a really awkward fit.
It's kind of a weird mix.
Weird mix, and a lot of cards that are a card disadvantage or not well suited for playing long games, like Path to Exile, to a lesser extent Rest in Peace. Plus he's got Timely and Anger of the Gods. He had to remove some normal Magic cards from his deck to make room for all this stuff. And Davis is beating him just kind of straight up on card quality and card advantage.
Here's a hardcast Tasker. You don't see that often, but you do see it right now. 6 mana, 4/5. Not a lot of text there, but pass the turn back over to Nikolich. Benjamin will draw. He's picked up a copy of Lightning Bolt to go along with a Flooded Strand. Pass the turn back over to Davis. Thought Scour the draw here for Jim. He also has a young Pyromancer in hand. Tassiger and Snapcaster Mage are coming across. Nikolich is going to trade with the Snapcaster Mage. Fairly predictable. He'll fall down to 6.
Now the question is, how much respect does Davis want to give to Supreme Verdict or some other sweeper? Looks like he's going to hold the young Pyromancer back.
Colonnade may have made that an error. We'll see. Davis does have a Thought Scour, Spell Snare, and young Pyromancer, as you mentioned.
Yeah, the problem now is that Davis is at 7, so a Colonnade hit plus the Bolt in hand kills him.
Thought Scour, going to take care of Lightning Helix and X. Draw Davis. Kolagon's Command.
That's a very good draw, as now Davis has lethal. He's got 6.
Davis deciding if he's just going to fire it off now or if he's going to wait. This is interesting.
I mean, from a mana efficiency perspective, it's better to do it now, and also he doesn't have to worry about Mana Leak. He's got 3 left over. I guess because of young Pyromancer, he has some incentive to hold and just wait for more information.
Here's an attack for 4. Nikolich is going to fall down to 2.
He could also just pass the turn now with lethal in case he's respecting the possibility of cryptic command. If Nikolich goes to dial up the colonnade, then you can go for lethal.
That's when I like doing it. Don't think Jim has to make a move right away.
I think it's safe for him to cast the Young Pyromancer.
Well, it looks like he's going to say on your upkeep. Fire off Koligon's command, and that is going to get the job done. Jim Davis going to win this match over Benjamin Nikolich, 2-1. Grixis Delver will take care of Jeskai Control, and for Jim Davis, your reigning players champion, 11-2, and in very good shape to top 8 this Invitational.
And I think traditionally this is a really challenging matchup for Grixis Delver. The mixture of spot removal plus sweepers plus a better late game, I think typically makes the matchup favor Jeskai Control. But the deck that Nikolich presented in game number 3, and I think game number 2 as well, I think was not as well suited to play a long game as Davis's deck, even though Davis is the beatdown in the matchup. And I think trying to make hay out of rest in peace, timely reinforcements, awkward removal that doesn't always line up the right way. I think as long as Davis is relatively disciplined about the way that he deploys his threats, he's a pretty heavy favorite in the post-board games.